Hey, good morning, family. So, Reginald Martin here of Metaphysics Sacred Alchemy, where ancient wisdom becomes modern awakening. So, beliefs create your reality. Family, that is true. If you ain't never heard it before, you have some doubt about that, family, watch that freaking debate. Oh, man. Uh, that brother and his belief system, man. Okay. And first of all, too, I want to say thank you to Sinetter for allowing us to do that on his platform. So he set that up and set both of us up and put us together to do that debate. And it was interesting because when I made that challenge, I was like, I know I'm going to end up being on Sinetter's channel. You know, he's just, Sinetter's a good brother, so good, honorable brother. But so I made the challenge, and the next day, Sinetter called me. When I saw that phone ring, I was like, I'll be damned. Here we go. So Sinetter, my brother, thank you, man. I definitely appreciate you setting that up. But he ended up putting me and Yara on the phone that day. And that brother was so confident and so arrogant. I was like, man, you cannot prove. So family, I set up the debate the way really Christians do us, okay? They set up a debate that is really unwinnable. The unwinnable part for him was, family, there is no evidence of Jesus that existed. That there is no contemporary evidence. There's just none. I don't like debating, okay? But I wanted to do this for the people who come to my channel that I know who are deconstructing, and show them that the fears that they have about this religion, there's no foundation and basis in it except what people have made up through history, okay? That the idea, and I said, I know with 100% certainty that Jesus Christ of the Bible never existed. And I know from, just my research and where all that information and knowledge that is part of the Bible come from. Family, I've been researching this for years, okay? And something that I do that a lot of other people have not done is actually be able to break down the esoteric knowledge and where it came from and how it connects to the Bible, okay? That's something that's very unique about my channel. And that brother wanted to say that the only people who ever talked about these ideas was, and I remember the lady, her name was D.M. Murdoch, and she went by the pen name Ashara S or something like that. And, but he wants to say that everybody that has these ideas that Jesus doesn't exist basically came through her. Family, that's not true, And I explained to him at the end, if anybody, let's talk about Phil Valentine, let's talk about Dr. Ray Hagins, Delbert Blair. There's one other big name I'm forgetting right now, and I hate that, but those are the brothers who inspired me, okay? And it was because of them that I started even studying this stuff and just, end up to where I am today. So I am aware of Ashara S, and I might not be saying her name correctly, and that's not meaning to disrespect her, and her legacy. But those brothers, they researched this stuff crazy, okay? They got deep, and so they led me to a lot of places, okay? So to where they going. And to where this stuff goes. But where I took it a little bit further was to actually learn the esoteric language and how to break this information down to show that there is no doubt about where this information came from and what it's about, okay? So this is the thing that I recognize, brothers and sisters, about, just this idea that our beliefs create our reality. If you watch this brother and you see the evidence that I presented and how this brother seemed like he was just absolutely blind to the possibility that this ancient knowledge is connected to Egypt, okay, that the Bible, that Jesus is connected to Egypt. He could not fathom that, okay? And I know a lot of us are thinking like, dude, is this dude just something wrong with him? Or you know what? You know, what's the deal? And family, that is a prime example of the idea that your beliefs create your reality. Because for him, for whatever reason, and I probably have to research that a little bit more to find about the Hebrew Israelite belief system, but I know those brothers are extreme. I mean extreme of the Christians, okay? And they live to debate and battle you, you know? But that brother was unable to see the connection. Part of it is understanding that a lot of people just never ever considered mythology in the way that I teach it and show you how it is. And so the work can stand on its own, okay? And if you research it and you start to look at it deeper, you'll see the connections, okay? He wanted to say, since it was my original content and my original ideas, that it's just theory. And it's just not the case. I just brought back the ancient teachings is what I've done. And for him, he cannot fathom having an original thought. Because even at the end of the debate, he was trying to ask me basically, what book did you find that in? You know, in a sense. Okay, is there a book that such and such? Because he thinks that everything that is real has to be in a book. He cannot imagine having his own original thoughts and publishing those, okay? So that right there it's just a different way of thinking. And I know a lot of those brothers, that's the way they think. It's just everything is in a book. If it ain't in a book, then it's not reality for them. They can't fathom having their own thoughts. It's impossible. But when I started to break down how the Greeks or how the knowledge of ancient Egypt came through the Greek Gnostics to Christianity, that brother just did not want to believe it. And anybody that knows the history of Christianity knows that Christians were Gnostic first, okay? All the Christian fathers. And when I brought that up, oh, now you're talking about the Bible. Dude, I wasn't talking about the Bible. I'm telling you where this stuff comes from. Quit being stupid. So I'm like, man, but it was just his beliefs will not allow him to make that connection for whatever reason. And I have to, somebody maybe can help me with that, you know, and maybe it's because they believe that they're the Jews, the true Jews and the chosen people and all of that. So I don't know, but you know, I've heard him and I was researching him, and he contradicts himself so much, you know, that you know, just the one thing is that Jesus was a localized phenomenon. He wasn't well known, you know. Well, if he wasn't well known, why the hell did they crucify him? He wouldn't have mattered. Okay, so that was the idea. If he wasn't well known and he lived, why did they crucify him in the first place? It doesn't make sense. If somebody is not known, they are not a threat. But every Christian will tell you that is because of what Jesus taught and the threat that it presented is why he was supposedly crucified, okay? So that kind of stuff right there is just like, okay, either it was a big deal or it wasn't, okay? And if it was a big deal, as y'all say he was, there should be record of it. Plain and simple. He had none, okay? No record. And he kept bringing up, like most Christians do, they bring up basically circumstantial evidence. Every Christian that is a believer will tell you that there are all kinds of eyewitnesses to Jesus in his time. Family, the truth of the matter is there is not, okay? There is not one. Family, Pontius Pilate, okay? And I used to say this. I used to make this statement. I can't say it anymore. That there is not one historical figure in the Bible, okay? Well, that's not true anymore. Because Pontius Pilate, the man who supposedly crucified Jesus, actually existed. There is archaeological evidence called the Pilate Stone that he actually existed, okay? I was like, wow. But family, he was the prefect, the governor of Judea from 26 CE to 36 CE. That was right across where Jesus appeared and then died, supposedly got crucified. He was supposedly the one in that area that actually ordered the crucifixion of Jesus. So there's record of him. But there's no record of him making the edict to crucify Jesus. Romans kept impeccable records, ancient records. A lot of those are still found or have been found to this day. They kept records of tax collections. They kept records of criminals, minor criminals that didn't do a whole lot of stuff. But Jesus was supposedly this monumental, treasonous individual that lived in Judea at the time that the Romans were occupying it, okay? That's who he's supposed to be. This monumental threat to the Roman Empire, all right? So you're telling me that the governor whose job is to report, that's his job, to report what he does to his higher ups. And there is no record of him crucifying this so-called person named Jesus. Not one record. I asked for documentation, for a written letter or anything. Family, he supposedly fed 5,000 people with 2 loaves of bread, or I'm sorry, 2 fish and 7 loaves of bread, okay? 5,000 people back in that day. Family, that is rock star status. In a supposedly small area, for a person that's a little known, please, 5,000 people. Family, it would just be natural and normal that
total
people
distance
see
1
something
mile.
like that.
Total time 20 minutes and 24 seconds. Split pace 20 minutes 24 seconds per mile.
Sorry about that. My clock was going off, but at any rate, so people would have just naturally, just by the sheer number of people, there would have been other people that wrote about it, wrote to their family about it. A lot of people couldn't write back then, okay? They were illiterate. So being a scribe was a big job back then because people would come to the scribe, hire them to actually write letters and stuff for them. Family, now out of 5,000 people that was supposedly there, not one letter at that time, not one contemporary letter. So everything that is historical, supposedly historical about Jesus was actually backdated. Every single thing, okay? There's only 24 lines in history for people of 24 lines in history that actually supposedly mentions Jesus. Every single one of them was written after his death. In other words, people were trying to justify him then. And I wanted to thank the brother too. I think his name was Asar Imra, I believe, at the end of the debate. And he gently corrected me on something that I knew, but at the time, the Hebrew Israelites was getting on my nerves. But at any rate, I said, because he was saying that nobody questioned Jesus or questioned that Jesus lived back in that day. And I basically said, if he never lived, how are they going to question it, you know? But the truth of the matter is, a lot of the Gnostics did question a historical Jesus because they knew it wasn't. Christianity took their ancient knowledge of Jesus, and created this historical person. They were fighting this at the Council of Nicaea, okay? So even during that day, they questioned this historicity, okay? But for almost 2,000 years, nobody had any kind of evidence otherwise that Jesus didn't exist until the Rosetta Stone, okay? Then he went off on something about the Rosetta Stone. I'm like, dude, it's all connected. And no matter what I showed him, it just did not matter. Family, it wasn't that he wanted to lie. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but his belief system would not allow him to even consider the evidence, because his whole identity and Hebrew Israelites' identity is built on the idea that they are the chosen people and they come from the line of David and Jesus, okay? And for whatever reason, they cannot give ancient Egypt credit for creating the Jesus that they know. I don't know, I haven't researched that. I'd have to get into, finding out what their beliefs are about that. But it is absolutely amazing that he would just basically dismiss the whole Gnostic connection. That takes him out of the realm of any kind of scholar. The other thing is he kept bringing up Bart D. Ehrman as somebody who was an atheist that didn't believe in Jesus, that kept corroborating the possibility of Jesus' historicity, okay? The thing that, again, when Bart D. Ehrman was writing those books, he was a Christian, he was a believer. It was only after a while, and I don't know which book it was or whatever, but he went from a believer to agnostic to atheist, okay? So as Bart D. Ehrman researched more, he knew something wasn't right. So now he's an atheist, okay? But he also stopped short of saying Jesus did not exist. And why would he do that? Because Bart D. Ehrman is a professor at a college, and he's a professor of religion, okay? In other words, he gets his paycheck from teaching religion, the Christian religion. And obviously, if he made that pronouncement, what would his college do to him? They fire him. His money would be gone. So he is not an independent, unbiased observer of this stuff, okay? I respect his books. I've read a lot of them, but he is not an independent, unbiased observer here, okay? So the dude that was bringing up Bart D. Ehrman, he has to put that in context, but he doesn't want to. He needs to believe Jesus was real, okay? But family, this is the whole thing, is that I wanted to at least, like I said, I'm not a debater. That's the first time I ever did it. It'll be the last time, because I don't care about debating people about this stuff, okay? But I wanted to do this one time to say, hey, look, without the Bible, they cannot prove Jesus' existence. They have to use the Bible to prove the Bible. That's the only way Jesus can exist. And if you take that away, they cannot do it, family. They can't do it. So anytime you want to debate Christians about their faith and the Bible, you are going to lose, because they got everything in their favor. Take away the Bible. Ask them to prove that stuff without the Bible. They can't use scripture. They can't use theological arguments, okay? That's what I did to that dude. Now, he complained about the methodology and all of that stuff, but he accepted the damn debate. That was on him, okay? So quit crying about it. You got your ass whooped. I handed it to him, okay? I whooped his Hebrew Israelite ass. So, it's like, Man, but I knew he couldn't prove what he thought he could. And all the evidence, again, everything he brought to the table after he pontificated and talked about all this and stuff, he had probably 2 minutes of something he's trying to present to show that Jesus existed. And all of it was years after. It was all backdated, every bit of it. Hey family, I want to make an addendum too. Y'all notice that he never used any of those sources that I mentioned in the my video that I did last week that talked about who was or the how they were identified as people that were after Jesus, okay, or it was years after Jesus. So Tacitus, Flavius Josephus, he did try to bring him up. Pliny the Younger. So all of these people that they normally use, he didn't. And I did that purposely because I wanted to take away his argument for those people right away. He couldn't even use them. Somebody came to my comments and says, well, I hope he doesn't see this before the debate. No, I was wanting to see it before the debate. I wanted to know that, hey, you're not going to be able to use this stuff, so you got to come with something else. Family, he didn't have a damn thing. So it's so funny now, you know, but yeah, so I wanted him to see that video. I was hoping that he would, and he did. So he couldn't use any of those sources. He had to come up with some new stuff. And then even during the debate, the stuff that he came up with, notice he never ever used dates. Never used dates. Because he knew that if he used a date, that would just blow his argument. So he had to fool people to try to say that, oh, this was actually some documentation. But it was stuff from 200, 300 years later, okay? And he never dated it. That brother, if you watch his stuff online, he's always using dates. But not this debate. He couldn't. All right, family. Family, even the Council of Nicaea deciding that he was Jesus and God, that wasn't done in 324 CE. That was almost 400 years after his whole life, okay? Everything about Christianity and the life of Jesus is backdated. People have no historical evidence of him. And they want to use the idea that a lack of evidence doesn't excuse his historicity. Family, that's the opposite. No, it's like, usually, from a historical perspective, okay, and I was a history teacher for years, but usually from a historical perspective, you are going to have the most information about an individual, a historical individuals during their lifetime. If they made an impact on society, it's just natural and normal that you are going to have the most information. I mean, think about George Washington, okay? Here in the United States, he was the first president of the United States. Think about him, okay? Now, yes, he's written in history books and stuff now, but people would have talked about him the most during his lifetime, okay? There would have been articles, biographies, there were anything that showed that was important about him, it would have been done in his lifetime, okay? So to say that Jesus was historical, you have no evidence of him at all during his lifetime, during 0 to 33 CE. There is not one record. Family, that goes against how normal people are identified in history. You're usually going to have people that are, you're going to have the most information about them during their life, not after, unless they are legends, okay, and mythology, or as I would say, actually fiction, because mythology is a lot deeper than fiction. But that's the only way. Historians, 24 lines about Jesus from supposed historians, or no, they weren't supposed, they were historians. But it was all written And most likely, it was all forged years after the supposed life and death of Jesus Christ, okay? So family, again, that was for you guys. That really was. I do not like the debate, but I wanted to get on record, and I wanted to get someone who would debate me without the Bible being their basis. And he took the bait. So cool, cool for him. But as you can see, he thinks he's a scholar. He's an apologist. And apologists are not scholars. I'm sorry. All they're doing is they're looking to prove their faith, okay? And they will twist every shred of evidence to the contrary into their favor. So the absence of knowledge, they twist that into saying that Jesus existed. That's the opposite of what it should be, okay? That's just logical. You have to jump through logical hoops and do logical gymnastics in order to believe what this guy was saying. He couldn't do it. He couldn't prove it, So there it stands, family. So the historical Jesus does not exist. Plain and simple. They cannot prove him. There are no eyewitnesses. There are no records from his supposed lifetime. Not one. Not one Jewish record. Not one Roman record. Not one eyewitness. Nobody wrote letters about him. Nothing. Family, that is absolutely impossible to do. Okay? Impossible. And he started bringing up, what did he start saying? Like, was there emails then? And like, dude, can you be that fucking stupid? I'm like, all I could do was laugh, So, he's sitting up, he wants to make personal attacks continually, talk about the methodology and all of that, but he had no proof. None. That's the big takeaway. No historical proof, family. Not one piece. Oh, and I want to say, all of you that were there, I got a chance to see the comments. Actually, I didn't get a chance to see the comments till afterwards. But all of you that were there that supported me, I want to say thank you very much. I really appreciate you being there. So definitely, all right. But I won it. I won the debate. Apparently 77% to 23%. And I was told that that's a landslide. Okay. I don't know. I've never done it before. So this dude said he had over 200 debates. You let a rookie whoop your ass. You let somebody who has never debated whoop your ass. But the real deal is he couldn't prove what he was saying that he could. No Christian can. All right, guys. Reginald Martin out.